right now.
Yeah, go for it.
Now people can. Well, luckily this isn't a webinar. This is a virtual panel. Very different. Let me just. Oh, there we go. Hello, everyone who are kind of shuffling in right now. We're going to give people a couple of minutes to kind of get in here before we get started, but welcome. I think as a fun icebreaker for everyone who's joining in now, if you want to, in the chat, say any fun or kind of cool stories that you've had in the past about camping out for Black Friday, Cyber Monday. Did any of you guys, for the panelists, did any of you guys actually ever do that? Like go at like Best Buy or something, like overnight, or camp out for like a big deal?
No.
I think like I've been to a store an hour before it opened. So I don't know if that qualifies. But
one time
I grew up very
Kevin.
close to the King of Prussia Mall, the second big, I think it's like the second or third biggest in America. So I learned at an early age driving past that thing on Black Friday, Cyber Monday to try to avoid that. And maybe that's why I ended up in e-commerce at the end of the day. Just like, there's got to be a better way here.
Yep.
Yeah, I never waited on a line on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but I did pre-order. This was a couple years ago. I did and I'm not proud of it. I did pre-order, I think it was a PS4 or something at Best Buy, and then I had to go pick it up. And I was like, oh, I'll just be in and out. And then I ended up accidentally having to wait on the line. So I didn't do it. It wasn't intentional, but I did. But it was a really good deal. And then I played it for like a month, and then my son was born, and then I never played it again. So it's just sitting in my closet.
Gravitation.
I don't have the time to play video games
until he turns 10, and then you'll play with him.
Yes. Well, hopefully there'll be something really awesome out by then. Way better than, I don't know, like PS8 or something.
It'll probably be like the PS like 8. They're not going to get rid of the branding.
Yeah, that'll be around for a while. Virtual reality and stuff.
For
This
me,
is coming out soon, I think.
Yeah, 5's coming out.
And it's 8K, right?
Summer. No, it's going to be like 4K. It's not nothing. We don't even have we barely have 8K TVs.
I got an 8K TV, but I can't use it. Yeah, they make them. They make them. They're
what?
Nothing's 8K though, but I'm future-proofing my basement.
You might be from the future. I never even heard of 8K. I didn't even know it was a 5K.
They've had 10K cameras since the 90s. Like they've existed. There's just nothing that can actually show them.
Oh yeah, and like Google can stream 8K, but the problem is like most internet doesn't support it. So, but
most internet.
Hey man, 10 years ago, people were laughing when you're buying 4K TVs.
Yeah,
it's true. I'm using a 4K monitor on my computer right now. I'm sure it doesn't come across as 4K on Zoom, but
you look -6.
Not even 1K over there.
we gotta get you some better gear, David. I got you. Don't worry.
Still have to send me a bunch of stuff, but
I do. I owe you microphones and some coffee.
Yes, and I guess with that, I'll give it like a few more minutes before I get complete. So we got 35 or 31 attendees in here so far. I'll give it like a few more minutes, then we'll kind of get started. My only notable like Black Friday Cyber Monday story is in middle school when the PS3 was a really big thing. They had this like amazing deal for like $2.99. You can get like a PS3 with like 8 games or something. And I didn't have a car, but the nearest like GameStop for me was about like 3 miles away. So I ran there. I remember I woke up at like 6 a.m., ran there as fast as I could, bought it, then like walked back because I wasn't running with it. And I spent like all my own money on it, but because I didn't tell my parents where I was going, like they up and thought I was like gone. I was gone. I didn't tell them anything. It was 6 a.m. So I got grounded and I couldn't use the PS3 for like 2 weeks, but I still got it.
The mission was successful.
Yeah, I was successful. There were consequences and I had to live with it. But
It's a very nice coffee shop that you're in, Kevin.
Yes.
Yeah, shouldn't you be wearing a mask right now, Kevin?
Yeah, right. They allow that there.
They've got the dividers up right here. I'm good, guys. We're
okay,
we're abiding by the rules here at Yapo.
Just making sure you're safe.
Looks like it.
Okay, I think we're good to get started. Anyone who shuffles in, they'll kind of.
I agree.
They'll kind of follow with it. All right. So we're gonna get started now. Thank you everyone for hearing us gab. Welcome to creating your Black Friday, Cyber Monday action list. We're here with Avex, Yotpo, and Bold, and we're really excited to kind of go through Black Friday because it's a very different time this year round than previous ones. And we're going to talk about a ton of different things, ranging from very actionable, tactical things that you can do to kind of beef up your e-commerce store for conversions around this season, various strategies for how to manage the holidays, things you can do to boost a variety of different metrics, and a bunch of other stuff, followed by a Q&A session. So in the comments, if you guys have any questions that you want to ask us, we'll go over that in the end and we'll kind of go through that. First, before getting into that, before getting into what makes Black Friday, Cyber Monday so different this year, we'll get into what makes this webinar so different, or virtual panel so different, is the speakers. So first we have John Sertikowski, founder and CEO of Avex, who also is my boss. If I didn't mention it earlier, my name is David and I'm a strategist at Avex. Hi, John.
Hey, how's it going? As David said, I'm the founder and CEO, amongst other things, at Avex, and we are a digital commerce agency out of New York City.
Great. Next, we got Jay Myers, co-founder and VP of growth of Bold. Hey, Jay.
Hey, honored to be here, man. Thanks for having me on with you fine gentlemen.
For sure. And then last but not least, we got Kevin Lindberg, partner manager at Yotpo and socially distant coffee goer. Hey, Kevin.
Exactly. Well, thank you very much for having me, David and John and Jay. Great to accompany you here.
Cool. So kind of getting right into it. So, how is this year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday going to be different from previous years? And I'll first throw it over to John.
Wow. So I think we're hearing that a lot, that this year is going to be different. And that's a great question. I think there's going to be a few things that are going to make it different. I mean, clearly there's just going to be more volume. You have more customers who likely were not shopping online. Well, not all of them, of course, but maybe they weren't shopping online as much. They were used to buying in retail locations and not via e-commerce. So I think that there's going to be, of course, an influx in the amount compared to previous Black Friday, Cyber Mondays. Also different types of shoppers with different types of expectations. Now, you might have someone who is used to shopping brick and mortar. Maybe they've placed orders on Amazon and they're used to that experience. They might not be used to a direct-to-consumer experience. So I think that, merchants are definitely going to have to step it up a little bit, especially when it comes to customer experience. So those are a few differences that I'm expecting, but I'm sure, these other guys have some things to add to that as well.
For sure. Jay, can you give us your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I think the concept of, like we were talking about when we were just waiting to start, of waiting in line at a store, like that is just absolutely not going to happen. So I think it's, a few things. I mean, everything is going to somehow be augmented online. Like even like the brick and mortar sales, like it's going to be all buy online, pick up at the store. Maybe the people that are shopping in the store, it's some type of a lottery system. I can't see the campouts and there just isn't. Like you go to the Apple store in the mall and it's a 2-hour wait, or the Nike store just to get into to buy something right now. So when Black Friday hits, like it's just not feasible. So yeah, maybe there will be some type of a lottery system. We might even see people pay to get in. That's offline though. I think online, I think we're going to see some interesting things this year. I expect the deals to be bigger. I think there's a sympathy towards everything that's going on, and your kind of classic gimmicky sales maybe won't work as well, or might not go over as well. I think people want to like genuine, the best offers possible, and not gimmicky, and clear and transparent. We'll probably see it extend a little bit longer than just the standard weekend. I think people are we're gonna see this attitude from merchants, like, we're here to help. It's Black Friday. We're not trying to take advantage. We're also trying to help you with the best deals possible. So like the messaging is going to be very different. And it's going to also happen. I think we might see voice play a big part this Black Friday. I could see Amazon launching special offers that are exclusive only by asking, if I say, I got to unplug my Alexa right now because it's going to start talking. If I say, it happened to me the other day. I said Alexa on a webinar and it started going off. But if you say, Alexa, what's the best deal? And it's only through Alexa. So you have to have an Echo to maybe get certain deals. I think Instagram is going to play a huge part in it. Now that we're shopping on Instagram and buying there, I can see a lot of brands only having their offers exclusively on Instagram. So you have to follow them there. So it's going to be very different. It's going to be interesting. And I'm actually excited to see how brands leverage the fact that all the eyeballs will be on their digital properties.
Awesome. And Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, no, I think Jay, you just covered a lot of really good, interesting points, and John as well. The standpoint that I'm kind of looking at everything, and it might partially be through a Yapo lens, but at the end of the day, the in-person shopping is just not happening. So you're not going to be packing in the family disgustingly stuffed from Thanksgiving the day prior, putting everyone in the car, driving out to, whatever mall, strip mall, brand, whatever the case may be. You're not fighting the crowds to get those insane deals. And a lot of times those kind of crazy deals and those videos that we see of people jamming through the door are many times at large retailers like, a Best Buy or basically a Nordstrom's or something along those lines. We're going to have a year this year where brands, if they're smart and agile, are actually going to be able to tap into some really great advantages that the digital world actually provides us. So I think that brands really should be focused in on here about how they're going to create a unique experience, create the excitement that a lot of people have had with the physical shopping in the past, and really deliver that online, create that excitement, create that special deal, that personalized experience, and ultimately a social aspect to it as well. So that's what I'm kind of thinking about as well. And all the above mentioned before is great too.
Interesting. So like maintaining the hype element, which is, so I guess critical to Black Friday, you think that has to kind of be translated online in a way that hasn't previously, just because, again, people aren't going to rely on the storefront. It's not like companies are shifting their budgets from, they're like splitting them. They're pretty much almost going all in on digital.
Yeah, exactly. It's about taking the information that you do have about, maybe it is an existing customer, maybe it's a potential customer that you're looking to acquire, whatever the case may be. You want to be implementing any type of personalization, completed with really like social proof and just validation that they may need to be excited about the sale that you're running, about the product that you're promoting. Ultimately, we want them to be feeling that they are special, that this sale, this opportunity is presented to them, and they're getting advantages essentially by shopping online rather than doing the hustle and bustle and past year, showing up in a large location and fighting other customers for that last unit that's on the shelf.
Cool. So in kind of relation to that and everything you guys kind of just brought up about why this year is going to be different, of course, there's going to have to be different reactions, different strategies, things that you kind of have to do to account for that. What are some of like the best ways and approaches that merchants should be taking with for this year? And I guess I'll throw this over to John again to kind of start up that up.
Yeah, of course. So I mean, I think all year round, there's certain things that you should focus on, but especially during the influx in traffic, you're going to want to make sure that you're planning as early as possible. You want to be able to give your team time, as well as, start to look at your conversions, start to look at analytics from the past year, look at last year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. What did you do last year that worked and what didn't work, and how can you improve upon that? There's a lot of individual things that I think we'll get into, but for starting to prepare, it's looking at analytics, looking at data, looking at some trends. How can you provide a better customer experience, and just putting that strategy and plan in place now, or rather yesterday, on what you're going to roll out. And that's not just looking at the discounts and deals that you're going to offer. It's, the messaging, the content. How are you going to better support your current customers, your VIP customers? What can you do? What can you do to provide a great customer experience? And how can you be prepared for this influx in traffic, these influx in orders, so that you're not fluttering around when it comes time to rolling out these sales, rolling out this content. And when people start actually placing those orders, that you need to be prepared to answer their questions, to provide a great customer experience, and support them when they're shopping on your website.
Gotcha. And from like a web perspective, from I guess both like the design and dev element, when do you think let's say regardless if they were on like Shopify Plus or some other platform, when should these things really be finalized by, to the point where the site goes into a code freeze and that they shouldn't be doing any of these things anymore before the big day?
That's a great question. And we kind of have a strong stance. Like right around now, we tend to get hit with merchants who want to do a large migration or a complete redesign before the holidays. And we try to convince them not to do that. We did it last year where we supported them up until Black Friday with their current site and like beyond, and then focused on the rebuild and used data and things that we learned and analytics that we collected to make better design decisions, better user experience decisions. I would definitely not advise merchants right now to be completely redesigning their stores, unless it's business critical and you have to. But I definitely wouldn't say, hey, let's go into a complete redesign right now, especially if it's not broken. If you're taking orders and you're able to just grab some low-hanging fruit and provide a better customer experience, now I would focus on Black Friday, Cyber Monday, fulfilling those orders, providing a better user experience, and then January, February, when things die down, then you can focus on a complete rebuild or a data migration. But it's too close to the holidays, and you don't want to mess anything up. So I would say code free, not a complete code freeze, but definitely not a complete rebuild or a migration this close to the holidays.
For sure. And Kevin, what are some of your thoughts on like some approaches that brands really need to take for this?
Yeah, definitely. To piggyback off of John, I think there's quite a few low-hanging opportunities that all merchants can expose, just taking a look at historical performance, possibly finding where along the journey that customers have hopped off and bounced out, or whatever the case might be, and ultimately implement, again, low-hanging, easy things to that particular page or portion of the experience that will create a stickier engagement. I think there's a lot that you can do quickly and easily in the customer experience spectrum. I think we're probably going to get into some more of that anyway, but totally aligned with John there. And what we're really thinking about, and what I've been talking to merchants about, is thinking long-term as well, right? This is going to be a unique year. It's going to be a huge influx of traffic to your sites. So the winners from this Black Friday, Cyber Monday aren't necessarily going to be the ones that are in that short sprint over that one weekend doing the most sales. The merchants that are setting up their infrastructure to be able to capture additional customer data, whether it be emails, phone numbers, even if they don't purchase, setting up the correct post-purchase engagements, making sure that they're capturing that long tail opportunity that they're going to be provided during this holiday season. So, to boil it down, a couple of the items that I was thinking of were making sure that you're set up to be able to catch information from customers so that you can reach out to them prior to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, make sure that they're showing up to the page for those exciting offers. Number two, like John said, improving the customer experience from beginning to end, really customizing it, putting personalization thought really into it. And then, the post-purchase engagement is going to be critical, whether that's through loyalty, referrals, whether it's just reaching back out for appreciation to encourage repeat purchase. There's a lot of different things that you can do there, but ultimately putting in the right steps to capitalize on long-term the opportunity you're provided based off of the influx of traffic here this year, I think is going to be critical for the winners.
Sure. And then Jay, how about you?
Yeah, I think both of you guys touched on pretty much a lot of the key points. All I would say is, as far as right now, we're September 9th today. This is, I would say, your plan has to be in place no later than the end of September. I would even say third week in September, but by October, the plans that and promotions that you're running should be set. And I think as far as code freeze goes, nothing past November 1st. That's when everything's set in motion. And we always title these webinars Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but we're really talking about a holiday season. And I think it's important to look at the bigger picture and say, what is my plan through the whole season? When am I going to have my Christmas delivery cutoff date for shipping, and how am I going to announce that? And then as Kevin mentioned, getting people in your funnels early. So whether that's email, social media, SMS, all the different channels that you're going to be marketing, that needs to be clear right now on your website, getting them in those funnels so that you can drip out to them all through the holidays. And then John touched on it, but the other big thing was just operations are something that often gets overlooked. So you have one chance, probably 70% of the customers that come to your website over the holiday season are net new, or they haven't bought from you in a long time. So you have this window of opportunity to surprise and delight them. So think of it, don't forget that there is a customer acquisition cost to the holiday season. It's good to make money. You never want to lose money, but you have this chance to get them in. And then to Kevin's point, how can you think long tail? How can you maximize that over for the lifetime value of that customer? So have a plan in place to nurture them going forward. It's really a huge marketing event for you if you approach it right.
Yeah, that's interesting that you brought that up, Jay. And I feel like every year Black Friday, Cyber Monday is just earlier and earlier, and deals just come out earlier and earlier. So it's not one weekend anymore, or 1 week, or Definitely Cyber Week, or it's kind of hard to call it that because it's just like you said, it's like a holiday shopping season, and you're just going to start seeing these deals come earlier and earlier. And I think this year, I'm surprised we haven't seen any communications on it. I know we're talking about it, but I'm surprised we haven't seen anything.
It's going to start any day, Matt, with the mail and postal services so backed up, and it's going to quadruple this. It's going to be people are going to start early October shopping for Christmas because it's going to be interesting.
Yeah, no more last minute orders might not be too easy to come by.
Yeah, I think John, you might have even mentioned it earlier too, and I certainly just anecdotally know and feel that there are those newer e-commerce customers that maybe have bought online in the past. Like my parents, they shop online, but predominantly they still shopped in person, and they're already starting to think about, all right, well, how the heck am I going to actually get everything on time in order to gift it or whatever they're doing. So I totally agree that it's earlier and earlier, and we should probably start seeing some campaigns rolling out right here in front of us over the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, and it's going to be a great Black Friday, Cyber Monday, or it's going to be very big, or it might just be big for gift cards. People might just be like, I'm not waiting for anything. I am just printing out gift cards. So that's another tip. Make sure you have gift cards on your site. You don't have to wait for them to be delivered.
I did actually see what's the name of the brand? I think they're called Away. They make like luggages. They actually
Yeah.
announced like this big sale that they're having. So I'm already seeing brands like kind of start to put that in motion. And you're right in that it does get like earlier. I feel like some brands might even start having their own. This is actually a just a quick aside to this because it was a Q&A question, but I think it kind of plays into this. Is that about whether using the name like Black Friday in your promotions, I feel like I could see as a way to kind of differentiate themselves from each other. Brands are going to have like their own name for a sale in a different point in time, whether it's like Away Day or whatever the name of the brand is. They'll have like their own name of the sale so that it takes focus. It's not competing with the holidays. It's like their own special sale that's important for the people who really engage with the brand, which is, I think, an interesting approach that we might see a little bit more of this year. I saw it a little bit last year, but I could see that being more commonplace as time goes by.
Sure.
Agreed. Yeah.
So moving on from that, kind of tying into these various like approaches, what are some strategic ways that merchants can do to kind of increase a variety of these e-com metrics, like, customer lifetime value, conversions, average order value, all that great stuff. And I guess we'll start with Kevin. Why not? How about you go?
Sure. The beloved acronyms here. Yeah, absolutely. Basically to kind of pick this question apart a little bit, I think we can kind of go, I'll go kind of piece by piece into those, and what people that are here with us today can look at and leverage ultimately over the next few weeks leading into the big holiday season. So for us, we're really trying to help as an e-commerce marketing platform. We're trying to help our brands optimize every point in the customer journey. And so the first piece of it is really with your outreach, your campaigns leading into the sales, leading into the visitor coming to page. So basically what we want is to help them increase their click-through rates. So integrating any social proof, any content that maybe they're collecting via their review request, or even through Instagram or Facebook or wherever it may be, implementing those customer stories, those testimonials into those early campaigns. Because, for example, in email, the stat, I don't recall directly off my head, but it's somewhere in the ballpark of 75% increase in engagement when people are actually using their email integration with their Yotpo platform. So I think on the front side, in order to get people to the sales funnel to begin with, implementing what you can there to make it personalized and special is going to be super important this year, especially with the insane amount of emails and text messages everyone's going to be getting. And then from there, we want to make sure that we're putting, again, those customer stories directly within that journey of the visitor. So whether that's putting an inspirational photo gallery on the homepage, whether it's placing product photos from real customers on product pages, whether that's implementing ratings and reviews, high sentiment score, feedback that you receive from past customers throughout the website, all of that is going to move the needle. There's 160+% increase in conversion rate for customers that engage with user-generated content than those that don't. So putting that strategically where the eyeballs will be and you're guiding towards will be absolutely great. And then, Jay and I think both kind of talked about it. And the last point, that customer lifetime value piece is so critical, I think, for this digital year to, take a big step forward for 2021. And, thinking about your loyalty program, thinking about the incentives that you're providing your customers to engage with your brand's community, really be a part of the experience and become a loyalist to the brand. We want to make sure that we're structuring the right programs and the right approach for each that we're working with, because at the end of the day, the people that are in the loyalty programs not only are far more likely, over 50% more likely to make a repeat purchase, but in addition to that, they're more likely to refer, and on average, their value of cart checkout is exponentially higher as well. So There's quite a bit to, build into there, and I definitely want to give the other guys plenty of time to speak. But those are a couple of the high level items that we're talking about consistently day in, day out here at Yalpo.
Cool. Just kind of leave it open to any of you other guys who want to kind of address that.
Sure.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
think from-
couple.
Oh, go ahead. John.
All right, I'll go.
You first.
Yeah, I'll just butt in. So to kind of add what Kevin was talking about especially about loyalty and current customers, definitely focusing on your current customers. It's much easier and cheaper to market to them and bring them back to the website than it is to try to obtain new customers. So that might mean early access, that might mean VIP for exclusive products, and making sure that your upsells and your cross sells are really hitting the nail on the head, because that's going to help increase average order value. So how can we bring back customers who are already fans of your brand, and how can you provide more value to them, and how can you bring them back to the site, and then what can you do to be able to increase the average order value? So like I said, making sure that upsells and cross sells are really working, and that you're testing those prior to the increase in traffic during the holidays.
Yeah, and that's what I was going to hit on too. Like I can speak to it because we have some products at Bold that help with exactly that. But this is like the season for bundling, upselling, cross-selling, downselling. Downselling being someone buys something and you offer. Well, actually, I'll touch on each of them really quickly. So bundles are great because they help you move inventory that maybe is harder to move. They add more perceived value. So I know there's a slide on this coming up, but I'll touch on it really quickly here. So like if you offer buy something, let's say like 50% off, let's just say, if you offer buy something, get something 100% off, you can never offer something 100% discount, but you can offer a bundle and promote it as this item is 100% free with this bundle, or 50% off, where normally if you bought them separately, like if you do the math, that's only 25%. So bundles are a great tool to increase average order value. Cross sells and upsells, and so we have an app that does both. It does cross sells and upsells, and the difference being cross sells are adding to your order, and upsells replace and upgrade. Upsells actually convert almost 20 times better than a cross sell, and then the logic kind of makes sense when you look at it, because an upsell is you're just upgrading to a better version of what you're already buying. So if I'm buying headphones, and if the upsell is for X amount more, you get the better version or the Bluetooth version or the whatever limited edition version, I'm already mentally committed to buying headphones. So I'm much more easy to convince to upsell, as opposed to, hey, I'm buying headphones. Do you want to buy this? I don't know, headphone stand for my desk, which converts well too, but not as well as upsells. So don't forget about upsells. I just find that's one that a lot of merchants overlook. And then downsells being it's when you offer something, they say no, and then you have a downsell, which is like, okay, how about this? And it's a little bit less. So it's really like I don't know, like this is the time through the holiday season is when people want to, they're coming to your store to buy money. They don't even know what they want. Sometimes they're buying gifts, and they want inspiration. They want ideas. They're buying something for their husband or their wife, and they know that they like outdoor sporting watches, but they have no idea what goes with it. So offer them those bundles. My wife wouldn't know what I want. I like GPS watches because I like hiking, but she has no clue what would go along with it. So anyways, there's a clip on that can go on my bike that tracks my pedals as I bike and whatever. So like help the shoppers out. I think is probably is a big thing for increasing AOV.
I like that. Help the shoppers out.
And they want it. You're not.
Yeah.
It's not like you're like a sleazy salesperson. Like when I'm buying something for my wife and I know she likes a certain brand of purses, and then I get recommended like the clutch that goes along, or I'm thankful because I have no idea. So
understanding the customer is really undervalued.
Yeah,
Yes.
it's a
Yeah.
really good point because like I'm just as lost when I'm looking to buy my girlfriend different gifts as well, and I don't have the benefit of going in physically to touch, feel, smell, like whatever it may be. You need those type of that assistance, that buyer assistance, where if you're shopping for someone else, what better way to know what you're going to want by getting the appropriate recommendation from the brand in a dynamic way. So couldn't agree more with that, Jay.
Awesome. So we talk a lot about what to do kind of leading up to Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and during it. But after the holiday season subsides, how can merchants kind of leverage the data that they collect and should be collecting, to increase, okay, I moved too far. All right. Sorry about that. To kind of increase customer retention. And Kevin, you talked a lot about that previously, so I'm going to let you kind of start with that one.
Yeah, definitely. This is a big thing, and I think this is kind of a key where between Yotpo, Avex, and Bold, just like our partnerships together, we really work together in order for the brands, the merchants that are here today and that will listen in the future. We all work together in order to make sure that you are getting the most out of this data. So it's definitely worth talking about and how you can leverage it, across the board and long term as well. So through this holiday season, there's going to be just an abundance of data that you're going to be collecting. You're going to see your total site traffic. You're going to see the number of purchases. You're going to see which percentage of those are repeat customers or not, what their total spend is. What did they buy? What are the items that they reviewed? Was it a high sentiment score associated with that? Did they enroll into a VIP program? There's just so much information that you're going to be receiving. The important thing is to really make sure that you're working with vendors and also an agency. If you're bringing one in, it's going to help you maximize that. So you want to basically identify through all those different data points the different segments that you're going to want to re-engage with in the future. And ultimately, by really being smart about the way that you're segmenting them and making it not necessarily super small because you don't want it to be a ton of work, but if you can find ways to automate your messaging to different types of buckets of customers and provide a personalized experience, mentioning their name, mentioning their VIP tier, mentioning past purchases, mentioning what they've liked, all these different things to encourage them to come back in these personalized messages, it's going to move the needle for you long term. And you can build in incentives to these types of programs to make sure that you are retaining the customers, but that's not going to be necessarily critical. There are plenty of brands that are out there. One on our loyalty program that I'm thinking off the top of my head, Third Love, they don't provide any type of monetary benefits for engaging with their community or enrolling into their VIP tiers. What you can do is provide exclusivity and community and experience long term for those that are willing to participate into those programs as well. So yeah, there's a ton to unpack. I'd be super interested to see what Jay and John have to say about this as well. But overall, I think just to kind of summarize it, like you're going to have a ton of information. Start thinking about the way that you want to segment this, and then ultimately build in the appropriate personalization using your vendors and your partners to make sure that you're long-term staying engaged with these more than likely first-time purchasers on your website to keep them coming back and again in the future.
Awesome. Yeah. Jay, any kind of like follow-ups to that on how possibly, what specific data might be really good to look at and to kind of focus on customer retention, or, have any other different perspective on this?
Yeah. So you're going to be getting, for two reasons, you're going to be having a whole segment of new customers on your store. One, because it's Black Friday. Like every year Black Friday, you get new customers, but this year you're going to be getting the people who never even shopped online before. So that there's a whole new segment of customer that's being activated online. Like my mom, who never shops online, will be doing all her holiday shopping online this year. And there's millions of people like that. So I think, there's a lot to go into here, but I think if I had to capture a few key things, it would definitely be who is a first time, a repeat, who's buying as a gift, who's buying for themselves. And at least at like bare, and you can just add a question on your cart at checkout. Is this a gift? Are you buying for yourself? And tag the customer. And then when you do your email follow-ups, if you know it's for a gift, send them the email series that's recommending gifts and for that person in their life. If they're buying for themselves, you can tailor it differently. So like at bare minimum, know if they're first time, if gift or not. Like there's a ton of ways you can segment, but most stores unfortunately are going to just follow up with the same emails to everyone who shops on their site after Black Friday. And I think that's just a shame, because you have that would be so easy just to at least do those three. You can there's a lot of great tools out there that let you segment even more by how they browse, what they buy, how much they spend, how many times are they on your site? Are they how engaged are they? Did they opt into different things? So anyways, but I mean, I'll just leave it at that, because I think that's like a pretty big win if you did to start.
Sure.
Absolutely. And even using things like Hotjar, I would say install something like that yesterday, because you're going to want to see how these new customers and even your current customers shop during this time of year. Like, how did they interact with your sales? How did they interact with your content? Were they reading your content? You could do heat maps, screen recordings, and then compare that with Google Analytics, compare that with your e-commerce platform analytics. If you're on Shopify, you have a lot of data there. And then look at Klaviyo Analytics. How did your emails perform? How did your marketing campaigns perform? So that you could use this data for next year or even throughout the year to increase conversions. But really important to not only think about the rush to putting out these promotions, but making sure that you're getting something out of them too, like not just sales, but also getting some data so that you could provide a better experience moving forward.
For sure. All right, next we're going to get into about the key rules that brands should kind of consider and follow when talking about upsells. Jay, I know you spoke a little bit about that previously, but it'd be great if you kind of go into deeper on what makes a truly great upsell or cross-sell in any of those.
Yeah. Well, okay, so there's a lot of different factors that go into a good upsell or cross-sell. I think I'll speak to some of the things that we noticed just looking at the data across our, 15,000 stores using some of our upsell tools. First of all, relevancy is key. And so, I mean, that kind of goes without saying, but you'd be surprised how some merchants think about relevancy. So a great example is we have a product, it's called Bold Brain. And what it does is it's basically like AI for your store. It uses machine learning to, you can create your own upsells if you want, or you can use the brain and it looks at all the data and then it creates your bundles, it creates your upsells. And some of the pairings that it finds, merchants are blown away saying, I would have never paired that together. Wouldn't have thought about that. And one just saw the other day, a company selling barbecue supplies. When someone bought a spatula, the number one converting recommendation from Brain was another spatula, which you wouldn't normally pair that. You wouldn't think about offering the exact same thing, but sometimes like a spatula's in the wash. Maybe you have two barbecues, you have one at the lake, or I don't know why, but people often bought two. So there's a lot of tools like that will actually sort through your data for you and find good pairings. You can do it yourself or you can use tools, so leverage them. Don't overdo it. We actually see every single item more you offer in an upsell, the conversion goes down. 1 converts the highest, 2 converts the next highest, 3 converts down. Once you hit 4 and beyond, it just goes way down. So there's a paradox of choice concept, which it's a real thing. When you give customers too much choice, they freeze up, and customers generally see themselves. I think 3 is good, and if you do it right, if you offer a high, like a premium, a mid, and a low range. If you offer 3 the same, so if I'm buying a watch and I offer watch is a bad example. There's not a ton of accessories, but like a case, I don't know, I'll just say a case for a charging case for on my desk. But if all 3 are the same then the customer's not going to have a choice. So offer one that's 99, 49, and 29, because people see themselves as, I'm a premium person, I'll always just buy the most, or I'm a thrifty person, I want to buy the cheapest, or I come in the middle. So allow them to self-identify and choose. Use wording in your upsells and cross sells that makes sense through the holiday season. A lot of times it's just like a generic, someone just installed the BullBrain.
Yeah, I saw
Awesome. That. Nice. Yeah, and BullBrain is free. It's I think there is a paid version, but like just using it for the machine learning aspect, it's free. A lot of times the wording people use in upsells is just like, you might also like, or don't forget. It's Black Friday, and the two things you want to tap into is, well, basically like urgency and fear of missing out. So if you have an offer, exclusivity and fear of missing out. So if you have 100 custom, okay, let's go to the watch example. It's a Suunto watch or a Garmin watch. You have 100 custom Garmin backpack pins that only the first 100 people that get, and then you can change it every day. Actually, Hoonigan is a brand that does a really good job of this. They make custom car parts, and they different racers that win different events, they make custom pins of them, and their bundling or gift offers they change all the time. So it's not even that person wanted it. It's just like there's only 100, and this one racer won, and they're going to miss out. And so use some FOMO is a real thing, especially around the holidays. Or some other things, the price sensitivity, elasticity, whatever you want to call it. Basically, I think like 10 to 25% of whatever the initial product is a good target. So and what I mean by that is if you're buying something that's $100, your upsell or add-on should be $10 to $25. Don't try to be too aggressive and sell them something else although we have seen instances where it does work. And then I mentioned before, really think strategically if you have upgradable products. So if you have different versions of products that are better, definitely make them an upsell. And that's just one of the settings that like you can have it so a product is added to the order or a product replaces the original item. The ones that replace convert really well. So experiment with that. I don't know why, but most people do cross sells just because it's easier and it's just a quick thing, like buy any hat, recommend something else, and they just think it'll go together. But if you take just a little bit of time to do the replace one, which is an upsell, it converts drastically better.
That's interesting. The idea of the upsell. We work with a lot of fashion brands, and that's hard to do with fashion. Like the hat example, it's hard to say, well, what's the next tier up hat if you don't have like certain tiers within a product. I think with fashion, it could be difficult. With things like jewelry, maybe there's like, you upsell them on a platinum version instead of the 14 karat gold, or an electronic could be a newer version. Definitely in those areas, or like a coffee company, there might be a larger bag or something like that. I think it works really well with those things. Interested in trying to figure out how we can do that for some of our fashion clients, because that's why cross sells are so popular with fashion, because it's so much easier to do and there's not as much of an opportunity to do like a true upsell rather than a cross sell.
Totally. Yeah. There's not the better version. It's just there's different styles and there's different looks.
It's subjective with like fashion. Yeah.
Shop the look is and you're right. Cross sells are way more popular with fashion. Definitely. Yeah. I don't know. That's some of them. And then I did have a note I was going to mention, like, we do, Yotpo's on the call here, so I'll give a little call. Like, we do have an integration with Yotpo. So putting social proof in your upsells is something that like, it's often overlooked, but it's very powerful. So we think that, just like offering the product and not giving, we go through all this time to create these elegant product pages with social proof and all the product details and gorgeous pictures. Use that in your upsell offers as well too. And Yotpo has a great integration with us that you can show you all your customer reviews right in upsell offers as well too. So something to take advantage of.
Awesome. So Going on the topic of, what are the big benefits of having a consolidated e-commerce marketing strategy, especially around the holidays? I feel like we've all of you have kind of touched upon this a little bit, but anything to really add on why it's so critical to really control everything from before, during, and after the holiday season?
Yeah, I'll go ahead and jump in. Yeah, I think we've talked quite a bit about things that we were hoping to cover here already, which is amazing. But I truly think that when you take a step back, like having a consolidated strategy with technologies that can make your life a lot easier and make your performance optimization a lot easier is going to make a huge difference for you, not just today and for Black Friday, but long term in general. So when you're able to use a platform and partners that speak to each other, that are sharing the pieces of data that you'll ultimately then want to leverage in multiple different capacities, whether it's email marketing, text message marketing, on-site personalization, basically just in general optimizing your site and taking the feedback that you have and deploying it, using partners and vendors that are making that process a lot more seamless, sharing that data and leveraging it across customer journeys is super pivotal, and definitely a focus of ours. And Jay already kind of stole my thunder mentioning our integration, but this is exactly why we work with Jay and everyone at Bolt as well, to make sure that all the different strategies that you are leveraging are smart, they're dynamic, and they're high performing. So thinking about it in that aspect is super important. Whatever can make it cleanest, easiest, and best for you is definitely the route you should choose.
Great. Yeah. Anyone else, anything else to add to this, or do we we really did kind of go over this throughout the whole thing.
True.
Um, because something Jay brought up previously about adding kind of UGC or social proof to upsells, why is kind of UGC and that related content so important to moving the needle on your site, Kevin?
Yeah, and I think John also kind of mentioned it as well. Leveraging content. It's going back to what we started with. Why is this year different? You're not having people in store. You're not having the ability to, in one level or another, experience the product, experience the brand. It's critical now to provide visitors to your site true proof of the product or the service that you're offering being enjoyed by customers and their actual feedback to it. So what we found from just surveying customers of our clients, over 97% of them say that reviews and ratings is one of the most critical pieces of their online purchasing decision. In addition to that, with visual and basically photo and video content being deployed on site, we see that typically over 60% of visitors to our merchant sites on average are engaging with that content prior to making a purchase. So when you're just taking a look at the sheer numbers across the board, the overwhelming majority of visitors to your site are looking to engage with user-generated content, real customer feedback and sentiment, and not only engage with it, it's also fueling their purchasing decision. So I think combining the customer experience along with your professionally done and design, branding, marketing, and all the photo shoots that you might be doing as well, making sure that there's a really nice mesh of inspiration and reality there, that's going to help drive the needle for you. So I probably should hand it off to John, because I know this is a kind of a wheelhouse of yours as well.
Yeah, for sure. Really big believer in content being king and focus on content. So Um, content is going to be key, whether it's UGC or content that you're creating. When it comes to messaging, regardless of what you may have heard, people still read on websites. Copy is extremely important. What's going to help sell your product, whether it's the messaging in your marketing, in your email communications, on SMS, or on your site, content is really important. So dial in your messaging, make sure you have something that's on brand and it sparks some sort of emotion. Make sure that it's going to be able to, properly explain your product, the value prop, etc. So invest in copy, 100% invest in copy. And the same thing goes for product photography and imagery. Yes, UGC is super important. Social proof is super important. But you also want to make sure that you have beautiful photography. That's what those two things are going to really help sell the product. At the end of the day, of course, discounts are cool and people like that. But what's going to get them interested in your product and learn about your brand is going to be the copy and the imagery. So how can you use content also to create a buzz, create some anticipation, create some urgency when it comes to your deals that you're putting out there? All of that's going to be through really good copy and really good content. And how can you, as mentioned before, how can you make sure that that copy is coming through in your email campaigns, your SMS campaigns, your social? You want to do something that's going to spark that interest. So my advice is definitely to invest in copy. If you can't write copy yourself, either learn or hire a copywriter. And if you can't shoot, if you don't have a great camera or something, or if you're building this on your own, you need to be able to hire the professionals to be able to do it and execute on that, because people really want to see beautiful photos.
Sure. Almost kind of related to a few of the points that you were bringing up, John, but what are some ways that brands can run a promotion that don't rely solely on sales or discounts? And I'll kind of throw that to Jay.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, there's this comes up quite a bit. Sometimes you just physically can't offer discounts because there's minimum price. You might have minimum advertised price guidelines that you have to follow. So you have to be creative about how you can offer a promotion, even when you don't have the margins to offer it. So we talked about bundles before. Bundles is a great one, I think, for a number of reasons. And it's a couple kind of psychological things about bundles too. So I touched on earlier how you can actually market it as, like, your wording in your email can actually be 100% off. If you're buying something and getting 100% off, it's so giving away gifts with a purchase is a great way to not discount, not necessarily lower the perception of your brand, and you're giving a gift, and it can still have a perceived value. So whether you word it as 100% off or as a gift, I think either way, depending on what the messaging you want, if you don't want to be perceived as a discount, then don't say 100% off. Call it a exclusive gift, holiday gift, limited run, something. And you see stores doing this all the time. Like, it's actually becoming more and more common, even in the brick and mortar stores. Last year, you'll buy some, like, jewelry. They don't discount jewelry, but you buy something, you get a like the bracelet that goes along with it or something like that. So you can also get creative. Like, I think if you have a loyalty program on your site, offer bonus loyalty points. If you have different, like, rewards, offer different incentives. And I know one of the next screens we're getting into is kind of with luxury brands, so I won't go down that path yet. But I think, like, as far as just you could, if you have any type of, like, VIP pricing, that could be something you unlock for them. A lot of different things you can do to still, and to make them feel like they're getting value and just not lower the price. And I think it's actually definitely something I would consider, because it's really hard. What happens is, like, there's what they call, there's a term for it, but it's like the pre-Black Friday drought. For like a couple weeks before Black Friday, people don't shop because they know that you're gonna, if every year you offer 50% off, you're basically training your customers not to buy for a month before. But if every Black Friday it's different and it's unique and it's some exclusive gift, well, if I want that product, I'm going to still buy it a couple weeks before. Um, but it still incentivizes me to buy it during the holidays if it's an exclusive gift. So I don't know, a couple ideas there.
Gotcha. John, anything you want to add to that?
Yeah, I think that's great. And as Jay mentioned, we're going to get into this can definitely apply to luxury brands, which we're going to talk about in a minute. But I agree. Everything that you're saying is on point. There's definitely things brands can do outside of running promotions, and that might be, expedited shipping. It might be, access to certain content or certain products, and every brand is going to be different. So looking at your customers and what they find valuable and something that's going to be on brand. I don't think this is a one size fits all thing, but I think it's about getting creative with, what's going to bring the most value to your customers. That's, not a discount, which, might be different for various types of brands.
Sure. And then Kevin, anything on the loyalty side you may want to kind of add to that, especially for Yapo's loyalty program?
Yeah, I think Jay and John did a great job already talking about some of those, whether it be acceleration on points for a particular purchase or product line. I think that's a great avenue to go. And just to kind of add something that might be a little bit fresh, and hopefully next year we can capitalize on it a little bit more, is definitely the sense of community and actually community engagement. I remember personally when I used to live across the street from, if you guys are familiar with Stance, socks and underwear is what they're famous for, but they would do basically celebrity type events. And the only way that you got invited to that event, and maybe it doesn't have to be in person, you can do things virtually now, whether it be with an ambassador or something. The point being is that with the VIP tiers and exclusive offers and acceleration of points, you can do all of those different things. But I think what a lot of people care about right now is what the brands stand for, what they're supporting, and how you as a customer can also stand with that brand as well. So I think there's a lot of opportunities to provide some sort of sense of community and engagement and access to these types of engagements based on your VIP level or your lifetime value with the brand. I think those are all great avenues to look into over 2021.
Awesome. Cool. So on the subject of luxury brands, is that, they definitely don't take the same approach as the majority of other brands with a variety of marketing strategies, Black Friday or otherwise. But, John, I know that we work with a lot of fashion brands, some of which are in the realm of luxury. So what can brands in this space do to provide value and incentives during this holiday season?
Yeah, that's a great question. So luxury brands tend to shy away from deals and sales because they feel it's going to diminish their brand, and rightfully so. Certain brands, it's not going to come across well if they do a 50% off, especially if the product is $3,000, $5,000. They're going to take a pretty large hit on that one, and also it's still an expensive product, so it might not be on brand for some luxury brands, but that doesn't mean that they can't provide certain incentives during Black Friday, Cyber Monday. To bring it back to what you said earlier, maybe it's a different term, maybe it's a branded term that they use, and maybe it's more of a focus on providing some more value via content. It could be gift guides, it could be inspiration for how to style certain things for the holidays. How can you use that brand voice that you've created to be able to bring some additional value to your shoppers, and also doubling down on customer experience. So when you're a brand, there's certain things that, the three things that everyone's looking at is going to be, is it a premium product or not? Is it an affordable product? And, does it provide great customer experience? It's very rare that you're going to get all three of those things. If it's a premium product, chances are it's going to be more pricey. It's going to be expensive, but you could provide an amazing customer experience. Same thing if you have a cheaper product, it's most likely not going to be premium, but you could still provide a great customer experience. But if you have a cheap product that is premium, you're probably sacrificing customer experience. So luxury brands really need to focus on, look, you have a premium product, and you have a customer that's going to expect a premium customer experience. So really focusing on insanely good customer experience. So that's not just for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, that's throughout the year. But around this time, there could be certain exclusive VIP offers. So maybe it's not necessarily a discount. Maybe it could be expedited shipping. Maybe it could just be the access to those types of products. So products that other members don't have access to, you provide this VIP customer experience that gives access to those products. So there's a lot of interesting things. Hermes has been doing a really amazing job with their digital presence online right now. Luxury isn't really known for providing, like, having a great e-commerce experience. I feel like they've always been a few steps behind a lot of direct-to-consumer brands, but Hermes has been doing a really great job, and they're getting a lot of notoriety for just having a really great e-commerce experience for a luxury brand. So there's a ton of great luxury brands out there. We've worked with a handful of them, and focusing on content, focusing on a VIP experience, very important, especially around this time of year. And of course, once again, focusing on content.
Sure. And then Jay, I know Bold has a solution that actually kind of like addresses content to specific users, likely VIP. Can you kind of touch upon that and how luxury brands might be able to leverage that for, this holiday season or even beyond?
Yeah, totally. I mean, so it's our memberships app is like built for this. It basically lets you control any content on your site, ties into the customer tag. So when a customer logs in, and the customers can be tagged in multiple ways. It can be tagged by how much they spend, how often they spend. You can just manually tag them. So say, to John's point, a customer service rep can be talking to someone on the phone and can put them in that VIP customer account just to make their day. But then from that, you can show or hide certain products, show or hide certain collections of products, certain blog categories. So maybe you have an exclusive blog content that's only for VIP members. You can change the entire Liquid template. So if you're on Shopify, you can show a different homepage to your members versus new people, which actually makes sense because you want the new customers to sign up and become a member. And then once they're a member, you don't want that same call to action there anymore. So, and then you can tie it into, we have another app called Customer Pricing, which if you want to have a gold level and they get 5% off, you have a platinum level, they get 25% off. As soon as that customer logs in, they get their different price levels. The thing what I notice about luxury brands is the price isn't the issue. So customers don't usually, they're buying luxury. So they're not too concerned about the price. Access is really what they want. And so even just giving them the access to buy something else that's exclusive. So if I buy this $1,000 purse, now I have a chance to buy a limited run. There's 500 of these bracelets and there's only 500 and that's it. And the designer made them. But I have a chance to buy them the regular price. They're not even on sale, but I just have the opportunity. Stuff like that is a neat thing that luxury brands could do that doesn't degrade the value of the brand at all. And it's still a win for the customers. So, yeah.
That's great advice. And also it's worth noting that a lot of times people are shopping online for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, especially these higher ticket items. They're probably shopping for themselves and they might not even be shopping for gifts. Totally. So something to consider that you need to be able to think about why your customers are there, who they're shopping for, and personalize content that way, personalize the experience based off of who your shoppers are.
Sure. All right, big last question for each and every one of you. So, what is your top recommendation that merchants can do and should do right now to prepare for Black Friday, Cyber Monday? And we'll kind of go down the list with starting with Jay.
I would say start collecting emails, phone numbers right now. Make it clear on your website that you are going to partake in what's known as Black Friday, whatever you want to call it. But I think if there's no messaging on your site anywhere about holiday promotion of some sort, and again, it doesn't have to be a discount, but something people might not. You want them to start getting excited. So I'm a big fan of trickling out specials all through October and November. So, throw up, sign up to our email list or SMS or whatever, to get specials exclusively offered only to our mailing list all through the holiday season that will not even be available on the site. Follow us on Instagram to get exclusive offers on our stories that are not available on our website or to anyone else. What you want to get is you want to get them to become an insider of your brand, and you have eyeballs right now. So I always think it's a shame when people think they have to like flip a switch at midnight on Thursday and then their website changes and it's all Black Friday just that day. You've got this amazing opportunity right now to get people to opt in greater than any other time of the year, and trickle it out for the next 8 weeks. So that would probably be my number one tip.
Great. Kevin, what about you?
Yeah, I can perfectly kind of piggyback off of Jay. Couldn't agree more on that upfront capturing of customer contact information, email, and phone number are going to be the most direct. The biggest thing that I would encourage, because, and John and I actually have spoken about this directly as well, but it's wild to think how many brands right now are not leveraging SMS marketing. It's something that's been around actually for a while and has recently been brought into the modern age. And it is a phenomenal way to cut through the noise, I should say, and get directly to customers and get a higher level engagement. It's something that you can get up and running within literally a day, if at worst, if you're doing a more customized strategy, a week or two. So I would definitely advise folks that are not using SMS marketing to look into it for the front side, because then it can be parlayed directly into incredible customer experience post-sale as you're providing updates on their gifts, their deliveries, customer experience, feedback, and support. So I would definitely encourage taking a look at that channel.
Great.
Yeah, and it's still new enough. Like I don't know how many more Black Fridays till it's like saturated, but right now SMS is like gold.
Yeah, no, it's a good point. It's crazy. It's like it's been available, but then it went out of style, and then it's becoming a more automated, better process right now. People are used to text, but yeah, Jay, you're 100% right. It's not saturated right now. It's a great opportunity to capitalize.
Yeah, definitely.
And John, what's your top recommendation?
Well, I might have to give more than one. I don't know if I have just one major one. Well, I mean,
that's the question. You got to give one. I wouldn't have asked. It would say if I wanted more than one, I would say more than one.
John, it's your panel. You take your time.
Kevin stole mine with SMS, but yeah, I think SMS is huge right now. That you could definitely make use of that, not only for Black Friday, Cyber Monday, but all throughout the year. You're going to be able to see higher open rates and really good engagement when it comes to SMS marketing. Another one is, and I can't stress it enough, but content, focusing on your messaging, dialing that in. The things like conversion rates, your site needs to be optimized for conversions anyway throughout the year. If you're waiting right now to just do conversion rate optimization and have a better user experience, fine, do it now, but you should have been doing it throughout the year. Looking at SMS, looking at content, I think also customer service is really huge right now. This year, you're going to have a huge influx. You need to be able to have a better customer experience. So your customer service reps need to use a great tool, whether that's Gorgias and you're doing some kind of automation there, or it's routing to the right customer service rep. Some of these people might be used to Amazon's instant customer service inquiries, or the returns process there. So using things that are going to provide better customer experience when it comes to customer service, when it comes to returns, things like Returnly or other types of apps that are going to provide a seamless experience. But more importantly, is also going to take certain things off of you and your team, so you could focus on building your brand and marketing and growing your brand, rather than worrying about like who got their tracking number or not. There's a lot of things that you need to automate throughout the year, of course, but around Black Friday, Cyber Monday, around this holiday shopping season, you're going to see a huge influx. So you want to make sure that you're supporting those customers, and also that your employees and your team aren't getting hit with too much. So you definitely want to make sure that you have these tools in place. So those are some of the things that I think merchants can be focusing on right now.
Fantastic. So for our kind of Q&A session, we kind of went a little bit over time. Our panelists had some amazing things and insights to say, so definitely no value lost there. However, we do have one question, so I'll throw that to Kevin. It's a Yotpo related question. This is a person from a jewelry brand who's asking, how is Yotpo's loyalty program different from the others out there, and are there other jewelry brands currently making use of it?
Yeah, we definitely are working with across the spectrum. To be totally honest, right off the top of my head, I can't think of the perfect jewelry business to provide as an example. But basically, the way that we differentiate and the way that we're able to cater to a jewelry business in particular is the fact that you're going to have far different goals and expectations out of a program than, say, a consumer good product, food and beverage, or even fashion apparel. There's differences there. So ultimately, the biggest game changer for us is that we're applying a strategist directly to your account to help you organize your goals and ultimately the program specifically around those particular goals. So we can set up VIP tiers, we can set up point systems, we can set up referrals, which might even be huge for jewelry business. And we don't have to necessarily give dollar value for points. We'll be able to tailor essentially that particular program to what you're looking to accomplish. The other biggest piece too, especially with jewelry, it's all about aesthetics, right? You know, you want it to be on brand, you want it to match the premium level or whatever. It might not have to be premium level for jewelry, but whatever the level of your brand is, you want it to match exactly that experience. So we have the customization and flexibility for you to deploy the loyalty programs so that it looks like there is no third party involved. It is customized and tailored specifically to your products, to your brand, so that it's consistent with the rest of the site. And that way it's not just a wonky pop-up that is there to engage with. We're ultimately designing something that's native to your site and implemented very easily so that those can actually sign up, refer, and ultimately redeem, or at least redeem the benefits associated with loyalty with that particular brand. So if I'll try to grab your contact information afterwards. We can definitely pull some examples and stuff for you to help it resonate a little bit further for you too.
Cool. Thanks, Kevin. I think with that, I don't think we got any other questions, so I think we could probably end it right here. But I just want to take this time to thank everyone who tuned in live and anyone who is watching this recording. And of course, thank you to all our panelists who really had this amazing conversation on this year's Black Friday, Cyber Monday. It's definitely going to be a historic one.
Excellent. Thank you so much, everyone. Thanks, Jay. Thanks, Kevin. Thank you, David, for moderating. Great job across the board.
My pleasure.
And thanks everyone for attending too.
Yep.
Yeah, thank you, everyone.
We'll be sending over a video. Oh, someone has a question. They could ask later. Yeah, sure. You could ask a question later. Can I ask a question to you later? Or Clarissa, you could shoot us an email and ask the question later, or you could ask it right now and we'll answer it. Otherwise, if you shoot it over later, we'll get back to you. We're going to send over this video to everyone who signed up and joined. You should get an automatic email within the next day. And I think we have some offers for everyone from Bold and Yotpo and things like that. So we'll send over some content in those emails. Yeah, if anyone has any other questions after this, feel free to hit us up on LinkedIn, hit us up on email. Well, maybe don't bombard everyone, but hit us up on LinkedIn, of course. Take care, everyone. Thank you so much.
All right. Thanks, everyone.